driving violently, all right, and we're going to turn the ball over. All right, we're going to make sure we disrupt these quarterbacks.
Burgundy Ballers, welcome back to a quick episode of the Ballin in Burgundy podcast. Yeah, it's just me right now. Everyone else is in school or out working, so shout out to them. Shout out to our sponsors always. But let's talk about what just wrapped up a little while ago. Here, February 15th, 2024, we had the introduction press conference to new offensive coordinator Kliff Kingsbury and defensive coordinator Joe Whitt Jr. It was today on February 15th at 2:30 p.m. We put some bites over on our stories over at BIB, so don't forget to like and subscribe here on the channel. Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, you will find all those sound bites, all those clips, all those stories all over there. Like I said, subscribe, hit the notification bell, let you know every here upload. But let's get into it. So starting off with the Kliff Kingsbury introduction, right? For those who don't know, former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. He was the offensive coordinator at Texas Tech, which Pat Mahomes went to school and went to college, and he was responsible for him. Goes to Oklahoma, helps Kyler Murray become the #1 overall draft pick, goes to USC as their sort of offensive coordinator, and now it's suspected for Caleb Williams to be the first overall pick in this year's draft. So we bring him over as our new offensive coordinator position. So he has a lot. He's talked a lot about this Commander's job and this offense. So let's talk about it. He says being able to just focus on the offense will be great. Dan has a bunch on his plate. I've sat in that seat because he was a former head coach, like I just previously stated. To be able to get back up and do that again is excited. I'm ready to get to work. When someone asks him about the quarterback, he says he likes to learn what makes a quarterback tick and to get to the bottom to them as a person. So he wants to not only get them to know them as the player, but as a person. I think that is a wonderful idea. You can't expect someone to do their job unless you know that they're capable of doing so, and that's what he likes. When someone asks how the offense is going to look, he says he wants the Commanders' offense to be a balanced, run the ball, and utilize play action passes, which I think is beautiful. Terry, Jahan, you have Kaz Allen and Mitchell Tinsley left. You could always go sign a Pittman Jr. or T. Higgins or Gabe Davis. You could go draft a Johnny Wilson or an Xavier Worthy or someone like that. Tail Bleaks play actions at tight end as well. So there's a lot to look forward to with his offense. When talked about the offensive staff, he said it was a collaborative effort forming the offensive staff, wanting to bring in higher character people who are also good coaches. That is fabulous, right? You want coaches who are smart, reliable, and reputable and have good character, and that's what we like to see. He was asked some questions about Caleb Williams, but the most one that he dodged from Nikki Javala for some Ben Standing about Caleb Williams. He's a great kid. Just getting to watch Lincoln Riley from afar and observe him how he does was huge because Lincoln Riley was the head coach. Really diving back into every teaching this allows me to get back into that. So kind of a vague answer. When he was asked what traits does he look for in a quarterback, he said the Chiefs quarterback, considering he coached Pat Mahomes. That should tell you something. He wants the quarterback to be the hardest worker on the team, considering the quarterback is generally the scapegoat or the captain of the team. That makes a lot of sense. When he was asked about Dan Quinn, he says he's a guy I've looked at as if there's an opportunity, it would be great to work with him. If there's no better leader than DQ Dan Quinn and AP Adam Peters. This is just fabulous to hear, and I am excited. He also said that there are some pieces here when he started to look through the offense here in Washington, being our commander. So he likes some of the pieces that we have here. So I'm sure that's Brian Robinson, Taylor McLaurin, Logan Thomas, Jahan Dotson, Chris Rodriguez, guys like that. He also went on to say a key part in offense is being able to adapt to its personnel. Added, the staff will be collaborative to put their players in the best position possible. This is not a player that being adapted to the scheme. This is the coaches being adaptive to the players and the personnel and helping everyone be one. He said when he talks about assistant QB coach David Blau, who we hired on this previous week, and I will talk about all of the coaches that have fully went out today. He said he's one of the smartest QBs he's ever been around, which is what a lot of people have said about David Blau and guys like that. Kurt Benkert, same thing. When he asked how much Dan Quinn will be involved in the offense, as much as he wants, which is fabulous, right? And we'll get into Dan Quinn here in a second, but guys, Can't thank you guys enough for supporting us through everything from day one to now. A lot of you guys, over 85% of those who watch our videos are not subscribed. And that just hurts our bottom line. Not even just the bottom line, because we don't make anything from these videos. We do this for the love of the sport, the love of the game, the love of the people, and for camaraderie. So if you subscribe and you tell a friend to tell a friend and share with us, that helps us tremendously. So like I said, like and subscribe here on the channel. Head over to all of our social medias, and we will be posting almost daily on our stories and weekly posts coming throughout the week, whether it's player breakdown, whether it's, mock drafts, episode, releases, guest episodes, because we have a lot of guest episodes coming. So you're not going to want to miss out. Hit the notification bell to let you know every time that we upload. Let's talk about Joe Whitt Jr., our defensive coordinators. He starts out by saying, we have coaches from different trees, and we did that by design because we want to have ideas outside of what I've done in the past. Multiple eyes on the product. That is a beautiful thing. Having different opinions and building the best possible defense, I'm all here for. Right? He said, one thing that we're going to do, we're going to be a run and hit team. How we live is not going to be for everyone. You goddamn right. Let's get back to those days of Sean Taylor, of London Fletcher, of Ryan Kerrigan before this league got soft. Darryl Green, right? Let's make him hurt and let's move on. Right? I am here all day for it. He one of the bigger quotes he coming out of today was, every day we go out there on the field, the standard is the standard. A Mike Tomlin, let's say. I know there's a lot that's thrown around a lot. The reason we got the coaches we got is because they hold people accountable. They're teachers first, but if you don't do the right way, you'll be called out on it. If you don't want to live that way, that's fine. It'll probably be somewhere else. Absolutely. If you don't want to be here, don't be here. If you want to be here, you're going to learn to roll with it. When asked about the coverage, because people were saying, oh, are you going to run a 4-3? You're going to run a 3-4? Because before Ron Rivera and Del Rio took over, we were a 3-4. When they took over, we would turn into a 4-3. Whitt says 3-4, 4-3. Everyone plays the same coverage. Structure doesn't matter. The main thing that matters is we are going to arrive violently and turn the ball over and disrupt these quarterbacks. Absolutely right. I am all here for it. I love every single second of this, and I cannot wait for it. One of the things says is he will get creative in getting the best players into pass rush situations. We have guys here we can feel can create matchup problems. Allen, Payne, in my opinion, KJ Henry, Jamin Davis has shown to be a good rusher when needed, especially going up through the middle, right? Goes on to say, if, quote unquote, if players are struggling, it is our fault as coaches. Again, all here for it. I love it. He says, when talked about how you're going to build this defense, we are going to build a Commanders defense. It's not going to be the same as it was in Dallas. Identity matters, right? If you don't have identity, you don't have a football team. What was our identity? Hold the ball as long as possible and not get to the quarterback. And we will let every quarterback throw on top of us. We are going to have an identity, and it was great. One thing that John Kine brought up is that Whitt is good friends with former Redskins safety and personality Ryan Clark, RC, and Marcus Washington. Whitt said that Sean Taylor was his favorite player, and it means a lot getting to coach in Washington. When your coach says one of the futures in his time era was his favorite player. Let me move this down just a little bit so y'all can see me. Was one of his favorite players. I am all here for it. But you've said that already. And this is great. We have coaches that want to be here. We have coaches that want to see us succeed. We have coaches that want to build culture in this building. And I cannot be more excited for it. And then just a few more things about the press conference. Whitt on Dan Quinn, he says, he's just the best human being I've been around in football. Take the football part out of it. When I moved to Atlanta, he had wrote handwritten notes to my kids. I've never had a coach do that. Handwritten notes, like notes are one thing. Handwritten notes means something different to not just I handwrite thank you notes to my grandparents and my family. That matters. That shows you care, and that shows you love someone. He also said on Dan Quinn, he allows you to be creative. He wants you to think outside the box. The last 2 years in a row, we were the number one team in the league in turnovers. The first thing he told me to do, how can you get the turnovers? We haven't been able to turn the ball over like at all. What, Fuller had 2 or 3 picks. Curl didn't have any. Quan had one in the Patriots game. Got to get those picks. And then the quote that everyone has been posting about, and that really stands out from Joe Whitt. He says, I really like Forbes when he came out. Not only Forbes, but they have Quan on the back end. We have quality young players here. We're just ready to go work with them. Dude, when a coach against your division rival says, I really liked him coming out of college, and he is ready to work with them, because Quan looked good. Forbes looked like burnt toast. But I am all here for it, and we cannot wait to talk about it and see the progression of Forbes and Martin and Curl if he sticks around, and St. Just, and if we draft someone. Can't wait to see the development there. Touched on this earlier before we wrap things up, but we officially have our 2024 Washington coaching staff. They announced on Instagram earlier this morning at about 11:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, as I record. So for the first thing, we have Dan Quinn, the head coach, Kliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator, Joe Whitt Jr., the defensive coordinator, who we just talked about their introduction press conferences. We signed Larry Izzo to be our special teams coordinator, who came from the Seattle Seahawks. Pete Onagian is our player development coach. I will look into him further. Sarah Hogan is our coaching chief of staff. She was, I believe, one of the player personnel over in the Falcons when Raheem Morris took over, and he spoke highly of her, but we since poached her from Atlanta. We have Brian Johnson, the assistant head coach and the offensive passing game coordinator, but he wasn't a good OC. He was a phenomenal QB coach. And working with the passing game means you work with the quarterback. Look into it. Anthony Lynn, who we just hired from the Niners, he's our run game coordinator and running backs coach. He worked with Christian McCaffrey. He has worked with Austin Eckler, who will be a free agent. Something to look into. Bobby Johnson is our offensive line coach. He came from the Giants. That was the name that everyone was like, why? Right? We retain Tavita Pritchard as our quarterbacks coach, and we signed David Blah to be our assistant QB coach. So I misspoke earlier. Blah was going to be our assistant quarterback coach. We have Andre Coleman, an offensive assistant, so someone who's going to help, look at the offense and help the coaches. We have Shane Tube, our offensive quality coach. Darnell Stapleton, our assistant offensive line coach. So we have definitely 2 people. We kept Bobby Ingram as our wide receivers coach, and he had worked with our players before, and they spoke highly of him. We've signed David Raw as our tight ends coach from the Bucks, I believe. We signed Jason Simmons from the Raiders to be our defensive pass game coordinator. Signed Ken Norton to be our new linebacking coach, which is absolutely great. We have Darrell Tapp, our new defensive line coach. Again, a great hire. Tom Donatel as our defensive backs coach. This will be good. George Spanko for our defensive quality control coach. Great. John Bacano, our senior defensive assistant. Great. Ryan Kerrigan, Washington legend. I believe in our Ring of Honor. If not, he should be. He comes back as our assistant linebackers coach and our pass rush specialist. Beautiful. Everyone was calling for him to come back. We have Sheriff Floyd, our assistant defensive line coach, so another big piece coming from Dallas to us. And William Gay, our assistant defensive backs coach. Talk about a squad. And we said that's in our story, and Rio said it, and we are assembling like an Avengers level coaching staff. But you guys didn't get Ben Johnson. You guys didn't get him. Y'all didn't get him. And we have the pieces now. Now it's time to go in the free agency. Now it's time to go in the draft. Now it's time to address and see what we have. Could we make moves? Absolutely. We have the capital for it. Just shy of $80 million in cap space. Number 2 overall pick. Number 36 overall. 40 overall. 60. Pick 100 and 102. Right? We've got the pieces for it. We want to make a big move, excuse me. And now we have the coaches to do it. So I am all here for it. I hope that the fellas feel the same. And from talking to them in our group chat, they absolutely do. But let's go into this offseason with open arms and open minds because moves will be made, whether it's cuts, signings, and draft picks. And let's just go have a good time. I don't expect us to go out and win 10, 12, 14 games, but just more than 4, more than 7. But I was impressed by the press conferences. When they announced all the coachings today, I was like, all right, I like this. So we're going in a good direction. Josh Harris and Magic Johnson aren't playing around. We have 8 Super Bowl champions on our coaching staff. 8. Dan Quinn's also been to the Super Bowl. Adam Peters has 3 as our general manager. We are building culture here. For once, culture matters. And we are building it. Guys, as wrap things up, like I said, like, subscribe here on the channel. Thank you for everyone who tunes in and watches. We love every single one of you, whether you comment, man, I really love this. Whether you comment, man, John is a piece of shit. Still love you. May not agree with you, but we love you. Like I said, like, subscribe here on the channel. Go follow us all over Instagram, Twitter, and over on TikTok. Shout out to the sponsors, Corey, Tone, Washington on the Daily, and Rio. Let's go into this offseason with good expectations, but not high. And let's go win us a few games. Like I said, support us and don't forget to stay balling. We'll see y'all out there.